Hey, this is Rick Casale, injury specialist from exercisesforinjuries.com. In today's video, what I want to go through are the 5 daily mistakes that lead to shoulder pain. Now, Emma's going to help me go through the mistakes that people make, and we're going to start off with the first one, which is being a slouch monster. So from sitting lots or staying relaxed in our chair or with our head forward posture, we tend to round out through that shoulders. And what that leads to is you have a decrease in the range of motion in your shoulders. So if Emma tries to bring her arms up, she doesn't have good range of motion being slouched. Now, if she brings her arms back down and she's nice and tall, now she gets a lot more range of motion. So when she gets out of that slouch monster position, that puts the shoulder in a better position. The rotator cuff specifically is able to work properly, and there's a decrease in stress on the shoulder and a decrease in the shoulder pain. So really, when you feel shoulder pain kick in, that should be your trigger or your cue to kind of look to see if you're a slouch monster. Oh, you're now looking at the second one. This one is ignoring your mid-back. And what we're talking about, this kind of builds on the slouch monster. So you're rounded through the shoulders. You tend to lose movement in that mid-back area. And when that happens, you lose that movement in the mid-back area. That puts more stress on the shoulder and leads to shoulder irritation, pain, and maybe even a full-blown injury. So what we want to do is work on that mid-back area, making sure we have good movement in that mid-back area so the mid-back and the shoulder work together. So what you can do is you can go through like a back arch. And Emma's going to go through it good. And then back to the start and then going through that back arch. Now we're really working the low back. You're getting some mid-back work. Yeah, excellent. You can bring the arms into it and that'll help work on that movement in the mid-back. Now going to the third thing, just doing legs. This is a comment when it comes to working out and exercising. A lot of times, the easiest thing for us to do is focus on legs, lunges, and squats. And what we should be doing when it comes to shoulder health is also doing some upper body work, specifically pushing and rowing movements or pulling movements. So one exercise definitely include into your routine is some sort of pushing movement like the push-up. So Emma's going through like a regular push-up from the knees. Good, and then another variation is you can utilize the wall, or if you're in a gym setting, you can utilize like a chest press machine to work on the pushing movement. Now, another thing to remember is to kind of have a balance between that pushing and pulling movements. So like a bent over row works well. So utilizing the dumbbells and going through a bent over row, as Emma's going through now. Good, hinging through the hips, nice straight upper body, knees soft, and then arms straight, and then rolling back, elbows just passing the body, and then back to straight. Perfect. So working on that on the rowing movements is important. Now number 4, getting your hands up. Now what this is really working on overhead movement. So when it comes to like our day-to-day activity, a lot of our stuff is below shoulder height, and this is where we do most of our work, but we want to get some overhead work going. So arms overhead, reaching overhead, we want to go through all these things so we don't lose that overhead movement. And then lastly, working the shoulder blades. So a lot of people will ignore the shoulder blades even though they play a really big part when it comes to, especially when you bring your arm overhead, but they're very important when it comes to balancing the muscles out in the shoulders. So the shoulder blades will move, and the shoulder blades will move in order to keep that rotator cuff in an ideal position. If we're not getting proper movement in the shoulder blades, it puts more stress on that rotator cuff, which leads to shoulder irritation, pain, and injury. Okay, so there you go. Give those a go, or remember these 5 things, in your day-to-day. If you have like an achy shoulder, you might be making one of these or all these 5 mistakes throughout the day. So this is Rick Caselge. Now, if you want some of my other best tips and tricks when it relates to overcoming shoulder pain, what I recommend you do is head down below into the comment section and click the first link, which will be exercisesforinjuries.com/shoulders. Let me know where to send you my latest report called 5 Tips and Tricks That Fight Shoulder Pain and Tightness. Now, if you got benefit from this video, make sure to like this video. If you have a question or comment for me, leave it down below in the comments section. And lastly, hit subscribe to get future pain relieving videos.